Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and today we're gonna do some work on customer's generator. This is probably the most neglected piece of equipment most people have. All right, and the problem stems from that they don't do anything with it until it's time to where they need it, and the power goes out, and then they can't get it started. Okay. The biggest thing with these is fuel. If you haven't started it in 5 years, that fuel is no good. And this one here is 3/4 full, and it's almost got like a varnish smell. So we're gonna have to drain it. But I want to show you what our steps are when it comes to fixing something like this. She's a winner, ain't she? All right. Be right back. Alright, so welcome back. This is a Porta-Cable 5500 watt generator. And it's not a standby generator. It's one that you plug into a whip that goes into your power, so that when your power goes out, you throw the main breaker so that it can't backfeed to this if the power comes back on, and you can plug this right into a breaker. We have, with our setups at my house, Claude's house, here at the shop, we have a whip that we can plug right into a generator. It's got a 220 locking male plug. And that's wired in direct, right into our fuse box. But the key is if you're going to do something like this, is if the power goes out, you have to throw the main breaker off because one, you're going to try feeding that line if there is nothing on it, and it's going to drain this. You're not going to get any power out of it. And two, if the power does come back on, it will fry. It'll smoke it. And how do I know that? Because I've seen it happen before. So, you have to have a good firm understanding of how to set up a generator at home, so that if you need it when the power goes out, it's there and it's functional. Now a standby is something different. Now a standby is standalone. It starts and stops itself as a monthly cycle. A lot of them are run off propane. You can get them run off diesel, but the powers, they have their own system, and it will sense if the line loses power and automatically start up your generator and give you power. And it will also sense when the power comes back on to come down and switch back on to the regular power system, the grid. So this is portable, and you have standby. Most people I know have got the portables. When we went through the ice storm years ago, everybody was living on one of these. I think I went 27 days with just a generator to keep our place with power. All right. So she's a winner. She got 2 flat tires. Bird shit all over it. It's been sitting for a while. So I'm just going to see first. Let's pop this air cleaner cover off. Let me get my goggles here. Alright. So the air filter looks like brand new. So that's good. It's a good sign. Alright, I shut the fuel off, okay? It was on. Second no-no, always shut your fuel off when you're not using it. If not, you're going to end up working in the carburetor. Alright, so that's choke, that's off choke. Give it a little shot of bug juice. Alright, so we know she's going to run. That's half your battle. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we got to drain that tank. And we're probably going to have to take this carburetor off and soak it and get it cleaned up. So stay with us. I tell you, if you pick up a handy little set of 1/4 inch, you know, with SAE and metric, they come in handy. Alright, so we're going to have something a little bit more to budge that one. Like I say, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I think this set here came from Harbor Freight. You know, even Walmart's got some decent tools. You know, you can go crazy on tools. I know that my son, he's going Snap-on for just what this one socket costs. You could buy the set with 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive through Harbor Freight. So I'm not trying to impress anybody. So let's get that out of the way. Now, even though I've got the fuel tank, the fuel shut off in the off position, I still like to shut it off here just so you don't get a lot of fuel everywhere. And I'm just going to simply there's a little clip right here on the fuel line. Just take a pair of pliers, squeeze it, move it up, and then just kind of in a back and forward motion here, it comes right out. Alright, so how are we going to drain the fuel tank? Well, you got two ways. You can either put a siphon hose in here, and that's old school, that's Claude. He'll take and suck up and then put it into a container. Or if you're lucky enough to have an electric fuel pump where it'll draw it out, or we can just simply set up a container and turn the fuel on. It's slower that way, but you know, that's the way we're going to do it today because I'm not sucking on any pipe or any line. Alright, so you don't have to have anything fancy. Let's see if I can get this stuff here out of the way. That. Like this here. That. Let's turn the fuel on. See, that's just about like varnish, you know. And I can see a lot of water in it. Yeah, there's a lot of water in it. So my guess is they're running the ethanol fuel in this generator, which I don't recommend. And I don't recommend it because of this, you know. I don't know if I can get a closer view to see what it looks like. Alright, so we're going to change the fuel filter too, but I'm just going to get rid of this old gas first. And while we're doing that, Alright, so we took the two nuts off, and these here thread in. And they probably make a special tool for these, but here at this shop, we just have a handy dandy vice grips. And just be careful not to get onto the threads. You can get right on the outside, clamp it down and turn, and then do it with the other one. Turn. And then you can bring those right out. All you gotta do is just kind of turn that carburetor just enough, and it will come right out here. Come on, you little bugger. Of course you're being. And go gentle with this other, the spring that's there. You don't want to bend it or tweak it, or. But the one is the governor rod. There we go. And looking at this, you don't need to take that off. All it is plastic. The intake, for the other side of the carburetor. But from the looks of what I saw in there, we're going to have to do a tear down on this. I put this tire underneath it because I wanted to make sure that this end was sitting high enough to drain all the gas out. And it smells just like varnish. Terrible. Alright, so let's spin this right around. Just get yourself a clean working space. And when I tell you to put it the way you take it apart, so you know that you took these two parts off, right? And this is the easy way, as not to get spooked. And you know that each one of those had a nut on it, right? And we know, excuse me, that the governor is what hooks into this, and as it, wow, that's tighter than Toby's. That should turn free, and it's not. And then this side, of course, is your choke and your run position. So the best thing you could do, let me get that off. We'll take our container of crappy gas. Make sure you have eyeglass wear, safety glasses, and just start cleaning it all up. And it's not going to hurt to slosh it around in this old gas, because it still has enough that will help you in your endeavors of getting it clean. What comes in real handy is like a toothbrush. You can get in all the tight spots, but we want it clean to start working on it. And this is an OEM Briggs carburetor. So I would say it's the original. Alright, so we've got it all clean. Let's get rid of this. So, first thing we want to do is we want to take out these two screws. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these two screws out of the bottom. Here and here. Again, what I want you to practice is taking stuff and placing it as you take it apart. It's there. If you're old school, you already know where everything goes. Just bear with me. It's for the guys that are just trying to get started. Or the homeowner. So we know we took those two screws out, so they go there. I don't know if you can see this, but there's actually chunks of crap inside that bolt. Set this right there. Oh, terrible, terrible. You know, see the chunks that come out of this.
David? Oh yeah.
That was in the bowl.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's sawdust.
And the spring.
Yeah.
Crud.
Now, did you blow? That should come right off. Yeah, it's got little O-rings up in there.
Yeah, I don't want to break it.
Alright, well don't take it off because it's a fancy gasket. It's one gasket that has hoops and shit. But can you spray up through there and have it come out up in here?
Another can that I've got right there.
Nozzle on it?
Set it here.
Well, she starts.
Runs? I could hear it run for a little bit.
I got if you got gas, I want to mix some good gas with what's in it.
Yep.
Now I can get the carburetor adjusted. Bucket come up. You had to flip them valves the other way to get the other part of the bucket to work.
You say I got gas, but it's about quitting time.
Yeah, so I figure we'll get it tomorrow. I'll have to clean out right now. Oh, she stinks out there. But no, I think that one there is going to be a
Never get these things.
good money maker.
There, so.
Yeah,
I'll
hold that
hold.
where you can look in here.
Ooh.
What you want to do is just, because it should come out that funny looking thing right there. Which they're plugged. I can see
You can
it.
get on the video. I'll put you right in. Cause hey, this is the real mechanic.
Alright, so what I need to do is get air hose. Cause I may have to run a pipe cleaner up through there. Cause if that's open, you'll have fuel come out of, see them three
Yeah.
holes in there? Should come with it. Let me go get it a little.
Come out of there with just solid chunks. You got a little spring that goes right in the bottom of that carburetor, and you don't want to lose that. Let's get her cleaned up. Claude's out there blowing the carburetor out with air. Put that spring right over there. That goes in there next.
When you go to do these, you get these in the carburetor kits,
Yep.
but you don't get that small one. They don't want you to probe in here. But the smallest one in the standard torch cleaning kit, got right in there, and you just, once you clean it, see it burn out in the holes?
Yep.
But this is what they need to do that with.
But I'm assuming as rough shape as that was in, probably this should come apart.
The only thing, no, because the only thing you got in there is the fuel's gonna sit in here. When you accelerate, it's sucked up through this hole. And that's usually, if the carburetor isn't overflowing, that's the only issue with it. They set up.
You can't move it.
That's shellac.
Because that's the governor, so it should move freely.
That's your choke.
No, choke's on the other side.
Oh, yeah, that's the throttle. A little carb cleaner in the joints. See how it's turning black down there?
So how far would you go with that? You let it
That one right
soak?
there, I just let it soak and let that sit right in the middle of it. And then just take a rag and clean it out, blow it out with a blowgun. But yeah, once you get down in here, once you take this off, it's got that weird looking gasket glowing,
Yep.
squiggly. And if you take it out of here, it'll swell up. You know, but if you get this one clean, that's what allows the fuel to be sucked up through there.
Oh, it smells old gas.
I got a bunch of towels at home.
Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to let the carburetor soak overnight. Change the fuel line. Change the spark plug. Air filter's good on it. We want all fresh fuel, and we'll do that in the morning. And then all we're going to do is assemble the carburetor the same way we took it apart. The reason I'm doing this for you is I don't want you to be scared of even trying. You know, it's not that complicated for you guys at home that are, you know, monkeying around with these. And it's a great way to learn. You know, get your hands dirty. It's going to be stinky, but that's how most of us learn how to do it, right? By doing it. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay. You know. But with these, if you're going to have one, you really got to take care of it and not neglect it and just stick it out somewhere. And the way to do that is every time you use it, what I want you to do is I want you to leave it running. Just simply walk over and turn the fuel shut off into the off position and let it run completely dry. The other thing I want you to do is do not put a lot of fuel in these at one time so that it's not sitting. Because if you're using the ethanol fuel, they will draw moisture. And when we first started draining that fuel tank, it was pretty much steady water, you know, in the beginning. So you can also, you know, Jason has mentioned a good fuel stabilizer that he uses, but you should go out once a month start it up, let it run for 5-10 minutes, turn the fuel off, and let the carburetor clean everything itself out of it, and we'll let it run out of fuel. And that way, you don't have fuel sitting in that carburetor and that chunks and gunk building up, okay? Other than that, there's not much maintenance on these. I would think you would treat your equipment better than this guy, but it is what it is, right? So I think I'm going to stop the video right there, and we can finish this up tomorrow, okay? All right, on that note, we'll catch you on the next video, part 2 of putting it back together.